What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Aydian here, and this is a totally we just decided to make this video about 4 whole minutes ago, and it's totally a rant video, but I want to talk about it. I have Elliot and Paige with me here. So here's the setup for this video. I got a DM, no, that's a lie. I got a comment on my latest post, and somebody asked me, and this is no hate on this person, this is just I just want to talk about this concept in general for the whole community and just everything like that. So, a lot of times I use the pronoun they or their for my little baby who's born male, Antler. And I always get questions about it. And I feel like, and this is where I kind of brought Elliot and Paige in here, for a community that hates being policed for gender pronouns and stuff like that, we police the shit out of everybody for their gender pronouns. And I felt like it was just really weird. We all, as a queer community, want to be able to express our gender, how we feel. We want to be able to use the pronouns that feel best and most aligned with us. But the minute I use a pronoun for my child, everyone has something to say about it. And this is, the reason I brought this up is because it's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third. Every time I use a pronoun for my child, whether it's he or they or theirs, someone has something to say about it. And I was bringing this up to Paige and Elliott because I'm just why is it that a community that hates being policed, polices the shit out of everybody?
Out of each other.
Yeah, and out of each other. And so what I responded back, and again, it's no hate to the person who actually said this, it just brought up the topic, right? They asked me, did you just use the pronoun there for Antler? And I just responded back, was I used the word there in reference to my child, Antler, but I didn't use it as a pronoun per se because Antler doesn't even know what the hell a pronoun is. They have no, again, I just use they. They have no, they don't even know what gender is right now. They don't even know that they have fingers and toes at this moment. They're 8 weeks old, okay? And I was telling Paige and Elliott, I use they and theirs and he and his, you know what I mean? Because I like to use them interchangeably, you know what I mean? I like to use all of it, And so I brought up to them, and they made they used big words, which I don't have, and they made some good points. And so, talk, and I agree with all these points, but I want them to talk, talk about what you were saying, being able to use they and theirs, interchangeably with he and him and she and all that stuff.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about that I just am thinking is, how horrible it must feel to be a genderqueer person in this community,
yes.
Especially those who have interchanging genders frequently. So if we're a community that's okay, well, you can change your gender, but then you have to stick to it.
Yeah.
And there's people that are that's not what resonates with me. That's not I flow within the genders. That's horrible that our own community is pleasing each other and causing, those microaggressions towards each other when we get enough of that. In
I have I have a saying that I've been saying a lot, especially on Twitter, is the world is the US is kind of against police right now, and I totally get it. But for people who hate police, they love to be the police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's for people who hate police, you really police the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so just you were saying being able to use them interchangeably.
Well, first of all, as your friend, to me, I find that to be a really cool parenting style.
Oh,
because what you're doing is not painting Antler into one box.
Mm-hmm.
You're already the first words he/they are gonna hear is oh, I'm not this one thing.
I
can
just
be something else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I also appreciate you not using all of the pronouns because you don't want to confuse, but you're doing enough that that kid's gonna grow up and be oh, I'm free to feel what I want to be, and my parents are dope with that. They're cool with that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do with Antler. I'm trying to use Antler's name more often than he or his.
Right.
I'm trying to interchange they and he, and because you're right. I'm not gonna say she because his biological body is male. And let's just be real, like it's like 99.1% of the entire population on Earth identifies their gender with their sex. So I don't want to just assume he's gonna be gender fluid or identify as a woman, or you know what I mean? But at the same time, like you said, like I want him to know that, like,
if they come to you one day and they're like, hey, this is how I feel, then they're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why they, them is perfect, because it's gender neutral.
Yes.
Or gender, you know, averse, or like what have you. But
same
it's
words, averse.
But it's at least the gateway pronoun or term to go, oh, okay, we can talk about this.
Yes.
You know, because there will probably be a day that Anna goes, hey, Dad, like, why do you call me they?
Yeah.
And then you can...
Or why do you call them they?
Yeah.
Or, you know?
But none of my other friends are called they.
Right.
And then you can have a conversation. But that kid's going to grow up feeling like they can be whatever they want to be.
Yes.
And like,
that's
they
the
can
point.
come to you and talk to you,
Exactly.
which is really important.
Yeah.
And they is already a pronoun. Like, so many people are like, oh, what they is a pronoun? That's so confusing. You just said, and they can come up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we already use they and them and theirs as pronouns. We're like, oh, that's theirs over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, and Elliot, like, I want you to restate what you were saying about how it allows people to, if you don't know someone's pronoun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that one of the things that Paige and I will always do whenever we first meet someone is use they, them pronouns.
Me too. Unless I see a sentence that says
Right,
pronoun,
right,
him,
pronoun,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And we'll use they, them pronouns until that person tells us the pronouns that they prefer. And I think that that's a really good way to practice using they, them pronouns, because a lot of the time people will say, well, this is just really hard, you know. But it's not that hard once you start to practice.
It's just practice,
It's just practice. And if you make mistakes, that's okay. Like, that's just, you're learning, and people appreciate that. So I think that, using they, them pronouns when you first meet someone is a great idea.
well, it's the best way not to offend or make someone dysphoric or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So stop gendering my child, people, okay? Like, I love you all, but seriously, like, just take a deep breath. Like, this child doesn't even know that they're really a person yet. Like, they don't even, like, if you read all the books about, you know, babies and stuff, like, they don't even understand that they're different from us. Like, right now, they share the same universe. Like, they think that if they see Jane Lee, or, like, if a baby sees its mother, they think that they're still their mother. That's why right now, specifically with Antler being 8 weeks old, like, they only look at faces. So, like, they don't understand the difference between them and us, and so right now they're really just looking at faces. Like, they've done studies where they show, like, babies, like, other faces, and they move the eyes down here and the nose up here, and they don't recognize it. They only recognize the triangle right here of the face, the two eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And so, I just, like, okay, so I just want everyone to understand that it's okay to use they and them pronouns for anybody, really. Like, I think it's a safety if you don't know what someone's pronouns is. And if you find out what their pronouns are, then you respect them and use he and his or she and hers. Because for me, like, I don't want to be called, I put pronouns he and him because I worked hard to be a he and him, you know, I worked hard to, like, become myself and to present how I present and feel comfortable with my true gender, which is male, right? So, you know, you respect them by, once you figure it out, you use it, and you're respecting them by if you don't know, right? And go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no, well, and also it's okay to ask. You know, that's perfectly fine. I really appreciate it when people just come up and they're like, hey, like, what pronouns do you use? Or just like,
or we'll be like, sir?
Yeah. Like,
It's the energy people have behind it. Because if someone came out and was like, so what the hell are your pronouns?
Yeah.
That's like a totally different energy.
So what are you?
Exactly. So thank you for hopping on. This is like literally, I just came in from peeing and I was like, can we make a video about this? Because I can't, like, handle it anymore. So stop asking me, stop gendering my child. They will let us know how they want to identify if they ever even do. You know what I mean?
Just stop caring. Like, here's the thing is, like, it might be a little hard to change, like, our personal lexicons.
That's another thing.
And add, you know, they, them into our daily use. But that little work we have to do could mean the world to someone else.
Totally.
And so it's just not that hard, and, like, you know, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just practice like all other things.
Get over yourself. It's fine. And stop projecting just because if I use he on my child, if someone has a female-bodied baby and they use she, like, stop policing them and projecting onto them because you feel like when you were a kid, you wish that you didn't get called she because blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, trust in people, trust in our queer community that if they have a child that's biologically female and they're using the word she, that they will, you know, explore gender with their child, even if they're using the word she. You know what I mean? Okay, that's my rant. I had no idea it was going to be like an 11-minute video. Thank you for sticking with me. If you want to hear more rants, subscribe, like the video, go follow these. Do you have your YouTube channel up yet?
We do.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the Parkers.
Okay, go follow the Parkers. I'll put it below. Thanks for watching.
Oh no! Almost dropped the video account.